Now, last week, John McCarthy went climbing with the Langdale and Ambleside Mountain Rescue Team with a spring in his step and a knapsack full of mint cake. This week, he's back in the Lake District, enjoying the corries and tarns once again. This time, though, with a holiday fellowship, a cooperative company with more than 30,000 members. John laced up his boots for a hike.
Once I tore around the country on a motorbike. Now I like to stretch my legs and go out on the hike.
Coniston House is a very elegant Victorian Gothic mansion standing on the shores of Conistonwater in the Lake District. Its wood-panelled hallway is the perfect place to set out to go on walks and explore the Lake District. Coniston House is owned by the National Trust, but leased by HF Holidays, a company which is celebrating its centenary this year. Indeed, it's the oldest existing walking holiday company in the UK. With me is David Brown, who has been coming on HF Holidays all his life, and he is now curator of their heritage collection. This organisation was set up by T. Arthur Leonard 100 years ago. Tell me, who was this guy?
Well, he was actually a Congregationalist minister. He thought the working man and the working woman should have a chance to have a holiday in the countryside.
Who did he want to take walking?
His ethos really was he wanted people to share the countryside, and so he had one or two key ideas, which we still have. One is he would sit people down at larger tables. They sat at tables for 6 or 8, so they'd automatically get to know other people. He wasn't a lonely walker, he wasn't a Wordsworthian walker, so they'd go out and walk in the countryside together and get to know each other. And he took lots of risks, in my view. I mean, one of the risks, for instance, was he started up this company in 1913, and his first year of operation was 1914. Not really a good year to start running holidays, particularly as one of his holidays was in Germany in July 1914. Two decided to stay on for another week and were interned.
And that was it, they were there for the duration until 1918?
Yes, August the 4th.
Before founding HF Holidays, he'd set up a cooperative walking group, I think. What happened to that?
His feeling was that it was becoming too comfortable. It started off very much like a youth hostel, very cooperative. HF Holidays is a cooperative as well, and in the early days it was literally a cooperative in the sense that people would help to clear the tables, they'd make their own beds, they'd clean their own shoes and so on.
And nowadays people can volunteer, so there is that element of people helping with the programmes.
Yes, and I do voluntary walk leading for HF, and my father did as well before me.
I think we should walk out of the house and look at some of this wonderful countryside. It's been a grey morning, but it's clearing, I think.
Yes.
Shall we go and have a look at the lake?
Let's do that.
There we are. And it is clearing. I tell you what, these are magnificent rhododendrons, aren't they? 30 foot high.
And then this view, which, as we just come round the corner, you suddenly see the whole of Conistonwater laid out before you.
Oh, look at that. God, it's fabulous, isn't it? When was your first experience of the
My first experience was age 3, and I went to a house on the Yorkshire coast, and I remember one of the first signs that we were going on holiday was packing the trunk, and it went on the train about 3 days early. Passenger luggage in advance, it was called. So when you arrived at the house, the first awkward moment was to see if your trunk was there. Because if it wasn't, you've got no clothes. And we used to go walking in the North Yorkshire moors. And I think that was probably the first time I thought, wow, I must have done my first walk when I was 3. And interestingly, my son did his first walk when he was 3.
You worked for the BBC as a producer in television with Blue Peter for a long time.
Yeah.
And HF experience inspired some of the things you did with the Blue Peter team.
Yes, because when John Noakes left the Blue Peter team and we were thinking, well, could we do a series with him on his own? I said to the editor, why don't we walk him on the Pennine Way? And
this, of course, with his famous dog Shep.
Well, indeed. And from that came another 4 or 5 series of John talking to the dog. It came out of the knowledge of the countryside, the knowledge of what fun it could be to do walks.
I'm now going to head off to the fells to meet some of today's party who've been out walking.
Good. I hope they have a good walk.
I'm happy when I'm hiking, back up on my back. I'm happy when I'm hiking off the beaten track.
mid-afternoon in Great Langdale, rather overcast but not cold, and I'm sitting outside the Stickle Barn Tavern where a group of walkers are enjoying a refreshing pint after their day's hiking through the fells, and I'm here with HF Holidays Laura Sims. Laura, who likes to go walking in the fells?
We have all different ages. This time of year we'd expect to see much more over 50s and older guests. During school holidays, our country houses tend to have lots of extended families, so you might have 3 or 4 generations of families or cousins and aunts and such together. What we offer is largely guided walking. Because of that, people come to take part in walks and chat as they're going along, because you can imagine if you walk in with a group and you go through a gate or over a stile, every time that you do that you end up with a different person to talk to, so it's a very good way to chat to a lot of people.
Laura, I know you're from Lancashire. Did you come here to the lakes as a child?
Yes, always to walk as a kid. In fact, I'm now just getting to the stage where I'm bringing my family back to walk.
Most of the people who'll be on the walk, say, this week, will they also be members of the cooperative?
Yeah, roughly about half of the guests at any given holiday will be members, because they do it as a sense of belonging to society, to put something back into the countryside.
The summer's not been very good at all so far. Do people get out and hike regardless of whether it's sort of sunny or even raining?
Well, naturally, it's always nice to have glorious sunshine when you're on top of the fells, but we've currently got 19 locations around the UK, as well as more than 80 overseas. But in Britain, it rains and it shines, and we cope with both.
And when the rain is pouring all night and all day, in my soaking clothes you can hear me blow my nose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times a day.
Looking out across the group of people who just finished their walk today, I guess it's fair to say they're all middle-aged folk. Lovely to meet you. What's your name?
Joe.
Joe, you've been out on the walk today. Whereabouts have you been? What's it been like?
It's been absolutely fabulous. We started off at I can't remember the names.
We had 11s at Skelwith Bridge.
We had 11s at Skelwith. We went and viewed these most beautiful waterfalls at Still. I have to say that my geography isn't very good today. It was much better yesterday. To have the guides as well takes all the pressure off us.
Is this your first trip?
Third trip.
Third trip, okay.
Yes.
Where have you been on
Yorkshire and Cornwall. They're all different. Sorry, I can't tell you exactly where we've been today.
See me swinging down the lanes and roaming o'er the downs, passing sleepy villages and dear old-fashioned towns.
Bill, was it?
All the way from North Carolina and from Colorado. We hike in Colorado all the time, and we've never been here before, and we've not been disappointed. It's been terrific.
Do you think this sort of outdoor activity, people walking, meeting, chatting, coping with the drizzle that we've now got this afternoon, is that a good thing for bringing people together from different places?
Well, it is, and my experience has been that if you have a little difficulty, like bad weather, it sort of bonds you with the people. You can sort of commiserate and complain to one another.
And what do you make of the Lake District? Have you enjoyed the walking?
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so. It's exactly what we thought. The picturesque scenery, you know, the sheep in the field and the water and all that. And so these last several days have been just that. It's been terrific.
You should see me having my tea beneath a shady tree, with lambs and cows and dicky birds to keep me company.
Here with another gentleman who is still bravely wearing shorts, even though the afternoon is getting rather cold and a little bit more than damp. So have you always been an outdoorsy person as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the Scouts, so we did lots of walking, hiking over various hills, sailing, canoeing.
Clearly you've got a kind of a community taking part in this, who are very mixed.
Yes.
Is that part of the appeal?
Oh, very much so. And I think the fact is, as a couple, the cooperative concept appealed to our kind of social aspects of the outdoor world. And the fact is, you didn't have all the shareholders and the people own it. Remember, you got £5 off. Not that it was really a driving force. But I think the idea that you're part of that concept appealed to both of us, the outdoors and friendship.
With a real good friend to the journey's end, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles a day.
John McCarthy with the friends and members of the Holiday Fellowship in the Lake District.